Welcome to today's webinar session. My name is Ozioma Ukegbu-Onwordi, and I am Communications Associate at Rendezvous. So on behalf of the Rendezvous team, I welcome our guests and our speakers to this webinar. Rendezvous is a dynamic and innovative company within the agricultural sector and nutrition sector. We are committed to transforming the food system, and through in-depth project implementation, market development, impactful advocacy efforts, policy engagement, and strategic communications, we consistently deliver exceptional services to diverse clients. Our mission is to illuminate African agriculture and nutrition. We are very excited to be having this webinar on pitching for success, empowering women in agribusiness to secure funding. It is an opportunity to empower women in the agricultural sector with the skills required for them to access funding that will help scale their business. So to begin the program, I am pleased to invite Ayebola Makinde, the Communications Officer at Rendezvous, to take us through the panel session. Welcome, Bola.
All right, thank you so much for that introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Ayebola Makinde. I am the Communications Officer at Rendezvous. And once again, welcome to this webinar where we'll be speaking about pitching for success, empowering women in agribusiness to secure funding to secure funding. Yes, that's what we'll be talking about today. So I'll be your moderator for today's session. And I just want you to know that if you are a woman in the agribusiness sector, you have come to the right place today. And if you're a man joining us as well, we are glad to have you here. So today we'll be looking to the exciting world of securing funding for women-led agribusinesses. And it's something that is important that we look into because the United Nations has said that women are less likely to be entrepreneurs and also face more disadvantages as they start their businesses. So that it is evident that there is a huge gender gap in the entrepreneurship cycle. And this is something that we need to address, and that is why we have started this webinar today. So it is important that we not only start businesses as women, but we also maintain it. And that is why we looked at access to funding as a key factor that we are going to be speaking about today. We understand the power that women hold in driving positive change in the agricultural sector and to transform our food systems. So we are here today to empower you with the knowledge that you need, with the resources that you need to turn your passion, your agribusiness passion, wherever you're on the agricultural food chain, we are here to help you turn that passion into a thriving business. We have three distinguished speakers here today, and Afi is going to be our first one. For those of us who are here, Afi is the founder of Reelfruit, and this is currently the largest fruit processing, packaging, and marketing company in Nigeria. The company deals in a range of dried fruit and nut snacks through a variety of channels across the globe. So the Reelfruit brand is an international brand. In 2015, Afi was also recognized by Forbes magazine as one of the promising 30 under 30 entrepreneurs. She's passionate about agribusiness, looking at innovative market-driven solutions to add value to local produce, given Nigeria's unique agricultural landscape. So today, she's going to be taking us through the role of investors in building a successful agribusiness. Welcome, Afi. Congratulations once again on the opening of your plants. I was there and it was a beautiful ceremony. Thank you so much for being with us today. You can
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and I'm excited to join the conversation today. So good morning, everyone. I think based on today's topic, my goal is to leverage my experience because I think that resonates with people, to just show how, what steps and practical steps I've been able to take to kind of raise funding throughout the duration of my business. So I will quickly, kind of introduce my business again and, the unique kind of situations that I faced and, talk about how I raise funding to overcome them. I will also assume that most of the attendees here are in the early stages of their business. So I will really leverage on that aspect and that time in my business as well, hoping to share some insights. So as I was introduced, my name is Affiong Williams. I'm the founder and CEO of Reelfruit, and I've been running this business for 12 years. What's unique about Reelfruit is that we are the first kind of dried fruit commercial snack in Nigeria. So we actually introduced the product into the market before we existed. dried fruit was not common or commonly consumed in the Nigerian market and not known as a healthy snack alternative. So we pretty much created a subsector in and a new category in snacking in Nigeria, which I'm incredibly proud of, but which took a long time because, of course, when you're introducing a new product into the market, not only do you face a lot of skepticism from consumers, it's very difficult to raise funding for an idea that kind of has been untested. And that's kind of why I lead with that, because in the beginning, what we really had to do was demonstrate proof of concept. And I think that that's very important when you're thinking about raising funding for your business. If you step out of your own business and you look at what the investor or whoever you're asking to give you or lend you money wants to see, they want to see that the money will actually yield a return, that they'll get their money back and perhaps some interest, but most importantly, that the money is not going to go down the drain. So it's important that you have to work to prove to them that there's something to investing and there's something to scale. So under the banner of the topic, obviously pitching for success, one of the most important parts of a pitch is basically showing the traction that you have achieved. And, of course, the very first question I'll get is, what about people who have no money to show traction? Well, if that's the case, you're going to have to get a bit more creative in finding ways to actually, get something on the table to be able to demonstrate to people. That's absolutely important. People want to also see what you have done, where your own sweat equity has been put in the business in the early days, and they want to see a product most likely in the market selling. So it's very so if you want to attract people to kind of want to raise your business, raise and invest in your business, you need to show them exactly what they're investing in. So what I did was in the beginning, I quickly realized that I couldn't fight too many battles at the same time, and the most important battle I had to fight was that I had to make sure that my product was starting to get known and get consumed. So we launched a brand and we just focused on putting our products in stores and trying to build awareness. And the uptake was very, very slow in the beginning. Our sales rates were very slow. Our reorder rates were very slow. There was still a lot of skepticism around whether this product was needed in the market, but we made sure that we kept just putting the product in front of people's faces, taking feedback from customers, and just making sure that we people were consuming the product. We had a good product. We knew people liked it, and the work was really, really to push it. So in terms of where I got my first funding from, obviously it was my friends, my savings started me off. I moved back to Nigeria and I sort of started putting all my money into the business. Of course, that doesn't go very far because as a 25-year-old, how much, or 26-year-old, how much savings do you really have, right? So I had to now go to the next level of people who are my friends and family. Of course, what they're investing is in really your dedication and how serious you are about the business and how much emphasis you are putting on learning about the business, on growing the business, and really demonstrating that you're the right person to build this business. So that's also part of your pitch, as it were, that you have to be very serious, very studious, and know everything about your business. If you're coming to your friends or your family and they say, okay, well, how much does this cost in the market, or how much does your raw material cost, and you don't know, then you don't appear to be as dedicated, because these are simple things or things that one would expect you to know. So when you're even looking at friends and family as an opportunity to pitch, people are investing in you, but they're investing in your dedication. They're investing in how much sacrifice you're putting and how serious you are about the business. So that's a very important thing to consider. At the same time, in the early days, I applied to all sorts of grants, pitches. This was something I did, and it's a very, very good tool for startup entrepreneurs to sometimes, it does two things. One, it helps you start to think about presenting your business in a more formal way. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs in the early days I talked to who don't even have, it's not even just even have a one-pager introduction about their business, or if you say, how much are you raising, they cannot share a document with you to show how much they want and what they're going to use the money to. But when you attend all these pitches, they really help force you to think about your business and being able to communicate your business as not just an idea, as a business opportunity, who your customer is, who your market is, and all those things that, you know, investors want to hear and people who want to invest in your business want to hear. So I applied to those pitches and grants. They really sharpened me. I didn't win. I lost more than I won. So you can expect that the rejection rate is very high, but it is part of the process. And you know, even the ones that I was successful at, I got a lot of learning. Some came with free money, which is good because you get like you know, you don't need to take a bank loan and don't need to have collateral to get this funding and all of that. But really, what really helps you even get successful in those pitches again is how well do you know your business and how well can you communicate it? What is different or unique about your business, and are you actually meeting the needs of these organizations? So if you're going to like a pitch on innovation, well, if you don't have anything or you cannot clearly communicate what's innovative about your business, you're not going to get to the next level. So, you know, the more you get into these things and do these things, the better you become. And if you're fortunate, you kind of win some small money to plow you back into that you can plow back into the business. Obviously, at this early stage, in my view, one of the biggest things you need to focus on is selling and revenues. For any small business, you know, that should be your bias. Your bias meaning that every kind of resource you have should be helping you get more sales in the early days, because that is what will interest people to kind of come in and invest in the business, right? So if you are not focused on, you know, if you got, you know, 1 million naira, 2 million naira, where are you going to invest it? Most importantly, you should go to something that will bring you more revenues, because the more revenues you have, the more growth you can demonstrate. And that's where you would get people who want to, you know, who are more excited about the opportunity of the business. Another question around just pitching as well is, which I need to emphasize too, is this idea of, you know, knowledge and how much you know about your business. Again, being able to package your business is very important. Being able to talk about your numbers, being able to understand your margins, being able to understand what the competitors are doing and saying, all those things are very important in pitch. So you actually will lose credibility if you go in front of a potential investor or anybody and you say that, you know, you're not sure of what your numbers are, or you're not sure of, you know, how many bottles of this you sold or that. It is really unprofessional, and it's an easy way for people to write you off. So again, in kind of packaging your pitch for business, making sure you know and understand the key drivers of your business. How much do I sell? What is my profit? What is my cost? These things you should be able to tell people immediately, and it really puts you ahead. Lastly, I will just talk about, and I mean, I'm sure there'll be time for Q&A, but the last aspect to your pitch is, and pitching yourself for funding, is really your network. I cannot overemphasize this enough. I always go around saying it. Anybody who's heard me in any forum talking, I'll always say your network is your net worth, because really it's your network of people, your community of that really opens up the doors to further investment and opportunities for you. So in the early days, I will advise that small startups and small to medium enterprises focus a lot on, you know, attending, like I said, these pitch competitions, conferences around startups, all sorts of stuff, and building networks of like-minded people who will help you as well with not just will send you opportunities, send you, give you ideas, help you bounce off, you know, thoughts around, and also potentially introduce you to investors that may put in money in your business. So I think I'll stop there in terms of what I think is important for pitch. But, you know, largely I'll summarize by saying that pitch is really you. You're the face of the business as the founder, and people have to believe that you are passionate, you are dedicated, that you have put in a lot of your own sweat equity, and that you are curious and you know your business more than anybody else, and that puts you in good stead to really secure funding in the short term and the long term for your business. Thank you very much.
To build on this conversation, I would like to introduce Ozioma Ukegbu-Onwordi. That's the CEO and the founder of Eden Group. She's right here on the call with us. And Mrs. Ozioma is an award-winning agripreneur who is passionate about fostering a sustainable food system and addressing the food supply gap, particularly in urban areas. In 2017, this passion led her to found what we now know as Eden Acres Integrated Organic Farm, a venture which she dedicated to partner with small farm owners to provide a consistent supply of fresh fruits and vegetables to direct consumers and local businesses in Lagos, Nigeria. Along the way, she recognized the challenges of post-harvest losses faced by smallholder farmers, and she took the business a step further by expanding into food processing and launching what we know as Eden Whole Foods. The African Superfood Company is committed to processing and distributing African food, both locally and internationally. And through this initiative, the company not only ensures food security, but also contributes to the financial well-being of small farm owners across Africa. So Ozioma is here with us today, and she will be speaking to us about unlocking grants and other funding opportunities as women in agribusiness. Welcome, Ozioma. You have the floor. Thank you for being with us today.
Hi, well, thank you very much for providing this platform. Thank you very much, Afi, too. I mean, I took some notes already. Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
It's freezing. Oh, okay. So thank you very much, Afi. It's always a pleasure listening to you and your insights, right? So Afi has said it all. So for us at Eden Acres, I started my business while I was still in the bank. And of course, it was a side hustle. And for me, it was just very difficult to combine working and getting fresh produce for my family, for my young children. And being that I grew up in the village, it was very important that I get the same quality of fresh produce I ate while I was growing up. And I think that's where Eden Acres started. So a little bit of my backstory. When I started, of course, I lost money like everybody. That starts with not a lot of training. So it's very important, just like Afi had said, that we get trained in the business that we want to do. So let's take knowledge first. So many times I'm on Instagram and somebody says, "Oh, I have 1 million. What business should I do?" So while I understand that, we want to make profits, we want to increase the capital that we have, it's always important to first get training and seek knowledge for whatever industry you want to play in. So if it's in agriculture, go for trainings. Something does something with AI. I did that like sometime in 2020. Seek knowledge, basically, that's very important. And that helps you streamline your own processes and position yourself very well for growth. So for pitching, right? Afi has said, seek knowledge, basically, work in a network and start applying to grants. So for me as a person, one of the few things that I did was first, being an entrepreneur is very different from when you're working for somebody where there's already structure. When you start doing your own business, you see check advance after max, and it means that you learn along the curve, right? So coming from the banking sector, where I've done 10 years plus, everything looked easy and seamless. And when I started mine, it was always human capital challenge. And then I would just feel that people have, this is common thing, it's vegetable, you use it. Remove the sand now, will you cook with sand? Make sure you pack it very well. But people don't seem to understand that. So you need to ensure that those processes are in place. And sometimes you may think you know, but you do not know. So be willing to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So seeking knowledge in the people who have done it before, internship really, really works. And sometimes at this period, people do paid internship, but you can even do it for free and learn the process so they can put the same energy into your own business. You know what to do, right? So I talked about knowledge, seek knowledge, start to apply to grants, and this grant can come in the form of access to resource, access to knowledge. So I was at an event yesterday, and Providence and EDC do a lot of training for entrepreneurs who are just starting up, and that will actually position you for pitching. So while pitching and grants access is important to help grow your business, it's not final, because beyond, okay, so I'll just list a few of the things. So there's access to grants, there's investment. First, you have to bootstrap. You have to believe in your own business enough to start it with your own money and where you are at. So if you have this big dream of probably having a cooling fan and distributing to all the estates, start with what you have in your neighborhood. Let people know that if they're looking for vegetable, they're coming to your doorstep. They're looking for tomato, they're coming to your doorstep. You need to learn to network. I'm a very, very private person, and a lot of entrepreneurs that I've met are very private as well. So you have to be an introvert and an extrovert where there's a need. So basically, you have to become an ambivert. You can't do this alone. So collaboration is key. You need to reach out to people. You need to learn. You need to know, and that will help you put together yourself, right? So you're going to all these programs, and they're helping you streamline the processes of pitching. And you're able to better define your story. You know how they always think elevator pitch, elevator pitch. It's the core of the story. You have the passion. You know what you want to do. You know what you want to bring to the table. You need to make me understand it. You need to make me see your business through your own eyes, but in a very short period. So I wouldn't have a lot of time for you to explain everything that you're doing. You need to tell me quickly in very short seconds the impact of your business. So what I'm going to share today is how you're able to leverage on the impact of your business and tell a better story. And the process is by getting access to knowledge and to trainings, right? And just searching in your industry, what's the updates, what trainings are available, what resources are available, intern, and just get better. Now, for pitching, what has helped me is being able to tell my story better, right? And every pitch that I've attended, will always look for the impacts of your business, because there's really nothing special that you're doing for the next person. Unlike Afi, who is like a pioneer fruit dryer, basically. If you're in agriculture and you're not doing any extra special thing, you're basically providing the same service that A, B. So why would I not go to my hotel and buy produce? Why do I not come to you? So you need to be able to leverage on your story and define it. It has to be impactful. Are you helping small harvest loss, which is most story that farmers do? And there's so many, but even at that, food shortage is still a very critical problem. So impact of the story is very, very important. By the time you start assessing this training, and then you have to write your grants, you keep getting better. Some of the pitches give you a review that you need to address this market better, you need to do this better, you need to tell the story better. These are the things that you need to, that helps you streamline. But if not, find a mentor. Let them help with reviewing your pitches. And I've had friends who have mentored me over time and helped me get my pitch better or get my story better, right? So get your story better. Talk about the impact is very important. Have your numbers. I already took this straight, so I'll just round off, summarize what she said. You need to have your numbers. Yeah, in business, if it's not an NGO, then it's for profit. So anybody that is giving you money is also looking at how to I'm looking for the right word to use, but how to booga with your business, or how to promote their own publicity with your business. So if anybody gives you money, they want to see that fund was impactful to your business and that you're actually really able to go from point A to point B. So that is their bragging rights, basically. Like, I funded this business, I met them at stage B, and whatever I gave them help them get more equipment and reduce their processing time. They increase their revenue. They were able to access more customers. So it means that you need to come and you need to come correct. So you need to have your margins right. You need to have your numbers. You need to have the bestsellers. When you're doing most grants, these are the regular questions that will be asked. So you have to talk about your business. You also have to talk about your own experience as a person and your why. Why are you doing this? We all know that first, we're doing business because we want to make money. Yes, even the person that wants to give you money knows that. But why? Because passion is a driver that keeps you through tough times. And that's been it for me. So I came from where I was earning well to do, like, let's say, a dirty job. But entrepreneurs always get the job done. We roll up our sleeves and get the job done. So everybody wants to listen to your passion, because when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So if that's the passion is a driver that will do it for you. But nobody wants to just hear you say, I'm a passionate farmer. You need to be able to coin your story better. And I said, get people to help review what that impact story is. It can be 2 ways, it can be 3 ways. There are also SDG goals, that the sustainable development goals. I hope we all know that will tell you exactly where you feature or what your business features and the impact that you're bringing to the next person. So not just you as a business, as you want to sell to people, are you looking at getting them to have a healthy, better life? Are you reducing poverty, and how? Are you addressing some form of losses? Are you providing good job for people that is sustainable, and then that they're proud of the job that they do? We can't stress this enough. Apply to many grants. You just getting better. So look out for grants. The resources are usually shared online in WhatsApp communities, and it might be as little as 100,000 to 1 million to 5 million to 250,000 in dollars, in naira, and all of that, right? So look out for them. Keep applying. You will get rejections, but I mean, please don't take it to heart. Like Aki said, I've applied to many and I've gotten a lot of no's. And people that I've looked up to also share public and say, I've gotten a lot of no's, but that gives me pumps to do better, because you see people that you know also get access to these grants in terms of publicity, in terms of the monetary value. And if they come and tell you that they said no to them, it will ginger you. They can say no to this person that does this. Let me go back to the drawing table and keep practicing and keep reducing like all the extras and making sure that my story is sweet, is impactful, and there's really no lie. If you're doing the work, is there. Because when these people also give you money, they don't just give you money and say, okay, Pharaoh, let my people go. They want to come back and see what's happening. Like, are you really doing anything serious? Sometimes they have to come back and verify that you actually have a real business that is viable, that all the things that you've written in your grant speech, you've pitched physically, are all true. Right? So you don't want to lie just because you think that nobody's going to give. I mean, they don't take your word and give you money. It doesn't happen like that. So they usually will come, and then sometimes some of these grants come with like, okay, if you've gone from A to B, we give you more money to go from C to D, and that's expansion, and then it's good for their own PR, and it's good for you. So leverage on social media. It's important, because if you're online, then you can see what is going on. The world is very digital now, and I can tell you for free that grants cut across countries. So you see MasterCard Foundation, they just released one, and they look at third world countries, and it's not just MasterCard, that so many other companies who is focusing on developing countries, and that they are willing to give them grants. And agriculture is gold mine, really. A lot of people are focused in funding businesses in agriculture, but you have to get your story right. The impact has to show, and you need to keep applying and just working, getting better at it. Have your numbers, and start with what you have. Right, I said that earlier, and I'll say it again, because I see that people say, I want to do XYZ, but I don't have money for this. Finance is not the first thing for an entrepreneur. Knowledge is, practice is. If you have, all of us have tall dreams, and if you're just playing in our head, we're just building castles in the air. You start with what you have. Afi has the biggest drying food processing factory today. I read Afi's story when Afi came back to Nigeria. It was just a small hub, and she was started from there. She already said it. How much savings did she have at the time? How much savings did I even have after working like 10 years in the bank? All my savings went down the drain because I was working and it was a side hustle, and all the money I projected didn't happen. So it took me redefining my structure and my business to start all over again. My husband was like, oh yeah, maybe you're crazy, like what's going on with you? But that's why passion is a driver. It's something I wanted to do for myself. Like, if I'm this young mom with 2 young children, really, really fighting to get them the kind of fresh food I ate while I was growing up, I'm sure there are other mothers like that. Even if they did not have the experience that I had growing up, then they want to absolutely give their children the best. Because personally, as mothers, we want to always provide better than we actually had for ourselves while growing up. So, I mean, it was a driver for me, and I kept doing it. Sometimes I was saying in my sleep, I'm saying lettuce. It was very funny. But I mean, now all of that story has changed. I mean, people reach out to me and say, oh, what's your opinion about this? Oh, can you supply this? Can you do this? We want to onboard you. We've seen the work you're doing from outside. And that brings me to scream your work. The work that you're doing, loud it. You are your biggest PR person. Talk about what you're doing. I'm very bad at social medias, but now I'm even better leveraging on it, right? And it's important to me that I joined this group. I thought I was very good. It's important to me that I joined here to speak, and then I'm accessible, right? Like, if I have time, if you had pitches or whatever, I mean, I'm looking at putting a class together so people can actually see how better to tell their stories and talk about what they do. Because a lot of us have beautiful ideas, beautiful businesses, but we have to start it. And when we do start it, we need to find mentors to handhold us and say this. And I can tell you that the mentors do not know it 100%. Nobody knows your business more than you do. However, they can give you a better guide from their own personal experience and say, oh no, do this better like this. This is like this. Remember that when people write books, they give it to a proofreader to proofread. Not that the people that wrote it don't know how to write and speak English, but they need somebody with a different eye who can read it and probably understand it and comprehend it and say, okay, this is not really making a lot of sense to me. How about you recoin it this way? How about you rewrite it this way? So those are the things to to do. I mean, most of us took WAEC and then wrote essays. English is compulsory, but you know how some people are scoring an A and some people are scoring a C. I am very sure that the story that I wrote there, it is the bomb, right? So that's how almost what the pitches and the grant thing is. So your story has to be very impactful. That's a key driver. You need to tell your story and not tell it as a bedtime story. You need to show the value of that story or the value of your business through the story that you tell while you're pitching. You have to get your numbers right. You are different from your business. So things that I have felt or seen that the grantors look out for is you as a person. What is your own personal why?
Yes.
What puts you in this position to want to create this kind of impact? They want to see where you're coming from, and that will help them see where you're going to, and then they can jump on your vision. So unless there are questions, but this is basically what I have.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ozioma. I love what you said about seeking knowledge at the first point. A lot of people look for financing, look for money, but what do you know about your business? What do you know about your sector? What can you say? What are your numbers? All of those things. How can you present your ideas? Thank you so much. That was a really beautiful one. All right, so to continue this discussion, we have our final speaker for today. To build on this, we have Etimbuk Joseph, the founder of Etifarms Global. Eti is an agripreneur and a consultant who is helping people build sustainable agricultural businesses. She's the founder of Etifarms Global, which encourages healthy eating through the cultivation, processing, packaging, and sales of edible mushrooms. She has a bachelor's degree in soil science from the University of Calabar, and she decided to start Etifarms in 2019. And since then, the business has grown in leaps and bounds. She also won the Eloy Foundation Award for Enterprise and the SME 100 Nigeria Award in the agricultural category. So we have Eti here today to talk to us about the power of effective networking in securing funding for agribusiness. So Eti, you have the floor. Thank you so much for being here today. We're excited to have you.
Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I'm always really excited to jump on any opportunity to talk about agribusiness space as it relates to women, agribusiness space as it relates to funding, relates to young and coming entrepreneurs in the space. I'm really excited to hear from my senior colleague, Affiong. I've been following her work for so long. I think this is the first time I'm hearing her speak. that was really, it was therapeutic. Yes, so I'm hearing the stories. It just goes to build on what we know, what we see, that there is just no limits when you put in the work and the commitment. And my friend Ozioma, amazing things. We've met on different platforms, and I'm really excited to also meet her here. So my name is Etimbuk Joseph. I'm the founder of Etifarms Global. So Etifarms Global is primarily into the business of growing mushrooms. And so many times I've heard people say, okay, you have mushrooms, what else do you do? I say, I grow mushrooms. Oh yeah, I mean, what else do you do? I say, okay, I grow mushrooms and mushrooms alone. And it gets like, okay, who eats mushrooms, right? This is Nigeria. Who eats mushrooms to make it enough, to make a business out of mushrooms, right? I get this a lot of times. And then some people would, okay, maybe sometimes customers after buying, they would ask, why mushrooms? I really want to know. My curiosity wouldn't let me go after this purchase. Why mushrooms?
Able to share your screen now.
I'll hear, okay, why mushrooms and all? And I think it boils down to all what we've talked about today, about really having a strong why, because a lot of things will test you, right? The environment will test you. Lack for the things other people are enjoying, just like Ozioma said, sometimes you could easily be doing well working somewhere else, and here you are trying to do something that seems as though it really isn't working. And sometimes you second guess yourself, right? Asking yourself, really, is this worth it? Right? And mushroom for me came from a personal place, right? Growing up, relating back to what Ozioma said about wanting the best, especially what you got, and wanting even better things for your children, right? For me as an individual, mushroom has been a very integral part of my life, not because I wanted or chose to have mushrooms into my life at all times, right? At a very young age, I had asthma, and the funds to continue conventional treatment wasn't really forthcoming. And my mom had to make inquiries, and in one of the visits to the hospital, had to ask the doctor if there was something else, right? Probably herbs, which could help salvage the situation or put the attacks at bay. And what the doctor recommended was mushrooms, right? If it could be incorporated steadily into my meal. And back then, of course, we know that mushrooms grow on decaying wood. Once in a while in the rainy season, you could find mushrooms springing up here and there. And there's also a question of, is it edible or it's not edible? Because of course, not all mushrooms are edible. But so with this knowledge, we had to fell our mango tree, watered it well over 2 years, and got so kind, edible mushrooms began to grow. With this, you know how it is when someone tells a mother that this thing can help your child, you're in trouble because you're going to eat it, you're going to bait it, you're going to wear it, you're going, in fact, everything about your life at that point in time will revolve around that food. And staying on mushroom diets for well over 7 years. I remember vividly the day my mom asked me 7 years down the line, hey, when was the last time you had an attack? I was 14 going to 15 at the time. And I'm struggling to remember the last time. I said, okay, let me really take note. I'll check and see the next time. And up till me sitting down here, I can't remember the last time, right? So for me as a person, this was like my awakening, right? So I'll just be taking us briefly, the outline for my conversation would be on awakening, the power of networks, identifying strategic events, maximizing workshop benefits, building authentic relationship. So I think I'm already here. So for me, that was my awakening. Coming to Lagos, I realized, okay, I can't find mushrooms, right? The only thing I can find are canned mushrooms, and well, that is not what I want. And I just thought to myself, beyond being sick or looking for mushrooms for health benefits, there are persons who need mushrooms either because they're on plant-based diets. I, for one, am on a plant-based diet, either because they're on plant-based diets or they just want to steadily incorporate healthy foods into their diet. And with some research, I realized that mushrooms could be cultivated. So I said, if mushrooms can be cultivated, who better to cultivate than me, right? So I started, my journey began. So this was the awakening for me. I always tell everybody, especially in the agri sector, you really need that awakening. You need to have what connects you to whatever you're doing. If you don't have this, and if money is solely what what drives you, there are times when that money will not be available. And from moments like that, you can easily, backslide. Okay, so that's the point where, you need that awakening, something that relates. A lot of times is when people, especially people who do not have the basic knowledge on the agri space, they just feel, is it not cassava? Is it not ugu? Is it not gari? It's something I can do. It's something I grew up seeing my grandma do. It's something that, I can just plant my cassava stem and it comes out without actually knowing that beyond even the cultivation, there is the market, there is processing, there are just other things that you need to consider. And when these people begin and get their fingers burnt, they feel, okay, I think this is not for me, or the agri space is not accommodating, right? So there should actually be, it doesn't have to be a personal story. It could just be an experience that got you to the point of, aha, I think this is it for me. And then the power of networks, right? Networking is actually really important. As you already said, your network is your net worth, right? So networking is not just about connecting to people. It's about connecting people to people. It's about connecting people to opportunities, right? And just by meeting people and making an intentional effort to get to know them better, you just never can tell. So we have our mushrooms in over 78 supermarkets, right? And what launched us into this journey was just someone telling a friend, oh, I got a very nice mushroom from Etsy. You could connect with her. I think it would be easy for me if I can walk into your supermarket and pick mushrooms. And that introduction was what launched out a supermarket for us, right? The person reached out, and from 0 supermarkets, we're down to supplying 7 supermarkets. And that was how it just kept going. Beyond this, there are cases where recommendations really, comes. There are just those times when you need someone to open the door for you. And that is what the right networking can, do by putting you in the space of someone who ordinarily your qualifications or your reach would generally not have reached. So as young persons in the agri space, and I think life generally, you should really push to, connecting with people and getting to genuinely connect beyond just, okay, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. It just has to come from a place of genuinely connecting with somebody and trying to make an effort to stay in the person's life for a good cause, right? So, and then the next is identifying strategic events. Back then, Eventbrite was the lifesaver. Back then in 2015, in 2014, right? I remember when I would set up Eventbrite, and I'm like, okay, what are the agri events for the next 4 weeks, for the next 5 weeks, and I'm looking forward to attending them, right? Beyond Eventbrite, today we have social media, right? Social media is just making everything easy for us all, right? With social media, you can get connected to different events that are ongoing. You can even tailor it down to events that relate specifically to your area of expertise or interest, which, as in this case, is agriculture. All of these things would help build you, because the more you hear other people tell their stories, the more you hear other people talk about their challenges and how they were able to surmount it, I feel it just boosts your morale. Of course, we just talked about networking, and one of the best ways to network is actually going out for such events and genuinely connecting with people. And as you go out, let's remember to get our business cards or an easy way for someone to connect with you after the event. Now, there are accelerators everywhere today, right? There's always that thing we feel, oh, I need money, I need money, I need money. Oh, me seated here, I need money as well. I think we all need money. But the most important thing that the 2 speakers that have already talked about is knowledge, right? You can have, as a complete novice, if you're given 50 million or even 1 million naira to run your business, I don't think you'll make the most out of it, because business runs well when your processes, your operations are well structured. And this is what accelerators do for you. Accelerators, some may offer money, some may not offer money, but really, this just helps you put your business processes in place. It helps you get everything together, just so you know where to put in the money and have it yield results for you. Like it said, revenue is the lifeline of every business. So imagine making a decision to buy a delivery bike, right? I remember when we started out, because mushrooms have short shelf life. So people would always, at the beginning stage, you would have people get their mushrooms when it's almost near spoiled, because the dispatch company we used took the whole day in their hot box to get the mushrooms delivered to people. Sometimes I would come on live and cry, and I'm like, I'm frustrated, right? I think at that point, if I was given money to buy, if I was given money, a lot of money, I think I would have invested in a logistics bike. Without knowing, I really do not need that, because my business was not big enough to really maximize the use and the expenses that I would incur from running and using the bike, right?
That's really
But
something
what
to
I'm looking for, reliable company to work with, looking for genuine and reliable logistics company where we can strike a partnership that's okay with every delivery, with every order you dispatch, anyone that gets fault, either you bear a 50-50 or or 70-40 part of the laws, and really sitting down. And in one of the accelerators we attended, that was the solution I was given. And right now, we haven't, I think maybe I'll say 2%, having issues around logistics, because we have been able to put them.
Yeah, that's so great. It's
Thank you.
important to
So,
be strategic.
yeah, so we've been able to really put that in check. Right now, before, apart from maybe if our partner company is not available and I want to reach out to another person, I'm sending you agreements that, oh, if my product gets spoiled in your hands because you don't deliver within the time frame you should be delivering, this is what would happen, right? So you can't really overemphasize the need for structure and accelerators. Myself and Ozioma, we are in one right now, leading African women.
Right. That's
right?
great.
And I'm blown away, I'm blown away, right? So these are things that would really help you structure your person, structure your business. There's African food change makers. Please look up on them, follow them back to back. They share opportunities, right? There's Faith Foundation.
Right.
There are so many companies that have accelerators right out there. And then there's grants, right? The same thing applies to grants. There are different organizations that give grants in different forms, in money, in equipment, and all. We have Jordan and Ibikunle Foundation, who will not give you cash, but will give you an equipment to use. Just tell them the equipment you want, and if it falls within the range, they would rather give you the equipment. And we've been a beneficiary of that. So you could actually look out for things like that, and then join associations that relate to what you do, right? If, for instance, you're into vegetables, there are associations. There are even associations that cuts across either manufacturers or small businesses. There is NASME, there is SMEDAN. All of these have been a beneficiary of so many interventions because of being a member of such associations. So,
all right, thank you so much, Eti, for dropping all of those names. I'm sure everyone here is like writing down.
Thank you very much, Bola. And a very big thank you to our panelists for the insights and impactful conversation. Thank you for providing insights on the different funding opportunities available in the agricultural sector. So now we will move to the Q&A section, to starting with Afi. So Afi, in your experience, what are some of the biggest challenges women entrepreneurs face when crafting a compelling pitch for investors in the agricultural sector, and how did you overcome these challenges?
I think one of the biggest challenges is really, I think, as all the panelists have mentioned and speakers, is about basically just crafting your story and crafting your business. I know that for small businesses, a lot of times we focus on accelerators, and they're quite helpful. Grants, these things are very, very helpful to startups. But what is even more helpful is if you can kind of still understand the nuts and bolts of your business. Even though you're applying for grant money or you're using an accelerator, it's a more powerful tool when you know that whatever support or resources you get, you're going to apply it properly. So the most challenging part is really doing the first work of, where does my business play? What is distinctive about it? Who am I competing against? Where do I have an opportunity? All those things you must, craft and pitch. And that really makes you, if you do that work well, you stand, you really, you'll stand ahead. Basically, you'll be set apart from the competition, because that's going to show that you have way more insight into your business. So just getting that insight and that understanding is very key. It's challenging, it's not easy, but like my co-speaker said, this is another thing I was really happy to hear about, this idea of interning in companies, asking people who have gone ahead of you. All those things are not easy things to do, but it saves you so much time, so much money, so much work when you can learn from others' mistakes, or you can even get others who are far advanced in your sector to mentor you, guide you. It really is helpful. So doing that groundwork is challenging, but the benefits are far worth it.
Thank you very much. So moving on to Ozioma. Ozioma, my question for you is, we've been discussing grants and opportunities. So beyond what we discussed here about grants and opportunities, okay, so beyond what we've discussed about crafting a winning grant proposal, can you please elaborate on one or two of the most common mistakes that you've seen applicants make and how they can be avoided in writing a proposal for grants?
In writing a proposal for grant, my experience is that your ask has to be very clear, right? And it has to match. So one of the key things you should do is research the company that is giving out this grant and look at what they're looking for. Usually, most of the grants will tell you, like as you said before, innovation. Is it an innovative business? I mean, you should not jump on every rain that falls. So, I mean, there's so many grants. Look at the ones that actually align with your business goals and then work on it. So your ask has to be very clear and concise, and it should match. So if they say the grant is 1 million, don't go and be sending your ask that is 2.5 million. I mean, it's already skewed. It's not going to be very fantastic. That's one. I mean, you're probably not even going to get it. People who have probably an ask that is within what is required would probably assess it. Then your story or your elevator pitch, it's very important. There's no need for long story. It has to be short, it has to be concise, it has to have impact. That's important. So another thing that I feel I should add is this. You see how I'm doing agriculture, right? I'm aggregating and distributing fresh vegetables and herbs and fruits. If I have a grant that does not really tailor to vegetable distribution, for instance, I need to look at the impact of my business and create an impact story. So it means that for different grants, I'm probably going to be having different asks that match the business that I do. And for me, I basically have like a 2-in-1 business. So we'll do the fresh vegetable distribution part, and then we'll have the food processing part. So the estimation, the grant that I am on with her, we're traveling to Rwanda, has to do with another business, and it was the impact and the work we've done there. For another grant that I've won with Stallion Bank, it was also the impact there. But these are two different asks. So at every point, I'm looking at a part of my business that match the vision or the requirements of a grant. So you need to study the grant as they're going to also study your pitch. So ensure that the story is aligning, that your ask is clear and concise.
So someone asked that what are some of the key elements that investors look for in a business pitch?
Okay, thank you very much. So the key elements that investors look out for, one, I think it still aligns with what Ozioma has said. Your story has to be believable, right? The story has to be really believable. You cannot be saying, it just has to connect, right? It just has to connect because it's a journey, right? For instance, if you're making an application and at some point you're saying, for instance, you're in Lagos, and then the next thing you're talking about being in Uganda, and it just that disjointed, right? So all of these things are red flag. That's the first thing. The second thing is your ability to actually make something out of whatever you're asking, your ability to make something out of what you're asking. So if you're asking for, say 10 million, right? If you're asking for 10 million and your business is still at a point where the revenue is, say, 500,000, 700,000, at that point, it just seemed like, what is the capacity for this person at this point in time to really turn over this money in the right way? Remember, I said your business has to be ready, right? If your business is still in the teething phase and you are applying for grants that are looking for either people who are looking to scale, who have already understood the nitty-gritty of their business and doing business in the Nigerian or whatever ecosystem, and you're just coming up, already it's a red flag. You will definitely not be considered, right? And then your financials, as much as I think it also relates with knowing who the person you're pitching to is, or the company is, right? There are some people that are very big on impact. What is the impact of what you're doing? There are people who maybe you're talking to somebody who is in the finance or who is in accounting space. Yes, good, yeah, you have an impact, that's fine. But actually, what is what is your ability to turn this around and actually make profits or become profitable? what is, especially when you're not giving back the money, they still need to be able to see some sort of, they need to be confident that this money is not a waste when it's being invested in you. So I feel there just has to be a clear roadmap, and you have to be very clear and precise as to what you're asking for and how you're going to be able to turn it over and make it profitable and possibly get another person employed.
All right, thank you so much, Etsy. So I believe that we have come to the end of our session. Thank you to all our panelists. Thank you, Afi, Ozioma, and Etsy. Thank you for joining this session today. We know that it was an engaging one and that everyone here had a wonderful time. And we hope that this is the beginning of, women in agribusiness being able to seek and to acquire the funding that they desire to take their businesses to the next level.